I want to say here, it doesn't mean that nothing is required, or maybe that nothing has to be learned or done. It's I want to say here, it doesn't really mean that maybe there is no threat, because even in the sense that there really is no threat, because everything's already happened, if you will, it's that it's all non-physical. So to reach liberation is liberation of the mind. It is coming to higher self-awareness, increasing the levels of self-awareness and sustained self-awareness over time. It's basically not a war. It's not like a physical battle. That's part of the projection, the illusion that represents itself in a variety of different ways. So it doesn't necessarily mean that nothing has to be done and there is no drama. It's that the drama is internal. It's kind of confusing, but if you've been paying attention to a lot of what myself and others have been speaking about the stillness or seeing beyond time and so on, it's the same thing people have been talking about for thousands of years. The true nature of reality behind the perceptual play, the drama, the show that is portrayed here. If people don't understand that, it's because they're clinging to the illusory aspect of themselves that is sustained by the illusory aspect of the world. I like how I explain certain things, sometimes certain things. And therein lies the problem, that if you live your life in that illusory aspect, that means that afterwards nothing happens. It just dissolves into nothingness, disappears. And it's as if you never existed. That's the issue. That's the drama. It's not like some guy with a gun or some space demon fleet, even though this particular drama does include those elements, all of those elements. This one is said to include almost all the elements, which is why this is the one that becomes one of the only ones that is actually most accurate or closest to what would be actually happening if things were actually happening and it wasn't just a cosmic daydream. But the only way to get that is to accept it and to make it all happen, to invite those beings in it and make this big show the most dramatic, drastically challenging show you can have. Because then you get the chance to overcome the most powerful illusion, and when the most powerful illusion is overcome, what is received is a non-physical reward, and when it's done to such a degree that it induces a state of self-awareness that goes beyond all of time, we get into what is referred to as a kind of eternal self-awareness, which can only be done once because there's only one true version of it. And it means that it's the hero's journey, that we have this exponential increase of challenge or catalyzation, and we have to integrate that and utilize the energy to come to this all or nothing or all at once stimulation of awareness, which brings about some type of fundamental shift in perspective that can't go back the other way. And in that sense, the fear, the challenge, the drama, all the other stuff, it falls away and it has no ability to control a person, or they don't have the capacity to be controlled in those ways anymore. But that's the dynamic, that the ways people perceive being controlled are part of the projection, a part of the narrative, the feed narrative, the drama, and they exist here, but they don't actually exist in the realist sense, that they represent challenges within us of our own awareness, striving to be known by ourselves, which is the actual drama, and it's the same for every being everywhere. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's not like, there's really no danger, because there's not, but it doesn't mean, for instance, making mistakes here and falling into lower awareness is going to correlate to that internal, non-projected version of that struggle within, and it will have detrimental results. That's the danger, the drama. It's internal, it's not external. It's a great intro, isn't it? So there's a couple of videos that I wanted to redirect to
for the it's gonna be hard for a lot of people to comprehend. Everybody's so caught up in their feed narrative. For the channel Paranoid Times, and I actually don't even remember what those exact videos are. Alright, they're just general videos, and I don't know, conspiracy doesn't really mean anything. I was informed, like I said in the Global Hive Mind video, I was informed that Paranoid Times is one of the channels there's going to be information released through. No one really gets the truth. Paranoid Times is displaying it, Rudolph of Germany is displaying it. So only a few people that are actually talking about anything. If there's a narrative, basically, it's like, we gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and this is what's going on, and I don't know. If it's a drama thing, it's a narrative. It's just a game. It was invented so that people don't go insane while they're in stasis. That's the sad truth. It's something people need to feel important. And it doesn't mean that it's not real. It means that it's invented for a very real purpose. So I'm gonna make a post with those links to those videos. Just a few different these bugs are getting annoying. A few different I can't think of the word. I can't think right now for some reason. A few different topics, basically, related to some of the secret operations and so on, and the secret knowledge, and the symbolism that's used and how it's used, and how it's basically being used to display what's real and what's not real, and almost everything is organized according to a script. And I'll post those, and then the next one, the one I'm referring to now, there was one video put out on it before. I've mentioned a little bit about this topic before. It's a slightly confusing topic, although it's pretty much it's important, and it'll make more sense when more information, when one learns about the situation more. Paranoid Times is one of the closest, most accurate releases of information on the secret operations, on the truth of this reality, on what's going on the knowledge. It's almost as if everything is possible. Oh, you're not even a mosquito. What do you want with my mouth? The video is pertaining to flesh interfaces. And it's a bit weird. But I'm just going to redirect people to it. There's one, and now they just put another one out, which is about an hour long, which pretty much touches on it more accurately, or it describes it more. It's more descriptive so that it's easier to understand. The more details you have to fill in the picture, the easier it is to understand and see the whole picture, or at least the bigger picture. And so the concept there is that you'll just have to see it. And I'll my writing is all about it. This is what my writing is. This is what we figured out. This is what they figured out, and we kind of had to go through this experimentation. There's a power struggle down here, but it's not actually relative to what's going on in reality. It's the easiest way to put it. It's all a show. It's all designed to capture attention. It's pretty much a hobby. Doesn't really make sense, and everybody wants to say there's so much to worry about, and we have to take it so seriously, and we have to, such a life and death matter. The whole point is, if you're an eternal being, or reality is reality, etc., and so on, then there is no problem. That's the whole point. But if there's no problem, then there's no drive. But there can't be no drive, because then nothing would happen. And so we invent ways to introduce drive, to keep motivation. And sometimes those get out of hand, and that's pretty much what's happened with this society. Watching the video will explain a lot more. It has to do with the virtual reality, simulated realities, the true nature of this reality, the technology that was invented and applied, and basically what happens, how technology can threaten a society if you develop a virtual reality that's more realistic, that's more real than the original reality for the applicant, if you will, the user. And so that's the basis for all of this. What happens if you develop a virtual reality that's more realistic than the user's baseline reality? You get mind games, you get tunnels of information and quantum dislocation where they're beginning to dream dreams within dreams that are technologically modulated and must be kept in balance with their own input, otherwise it gets completely out of hand, like Alice in Wonderland, layers of mega complexes of rabbit holes. And our society is in one of those. And the whole apocalypse, good version of the Armageddon, the awakening, mass awakening, etc., it's when we realize where we are and where we've been and what we've been stuck in, these loops, these thought loops of repeated activities. The whole point is, if we had a reason to come in here, if we had a notion that we were trying to accomplish, then the whole point is to continue until we reach that accomplishment. It's not to just give up. That's the whole point. If we give up, it's a massive mega rabbit hole complex of failure. If we accomplish what we were looking for and come out on top of ourselves, basically, but not really on level, basically balanced, then it's a massive mega rabbit hole complex of self-fulfillment. It's meaningless because it's what we make it. It's not meaningless in the sense that it's inherently useless. It's the only use that you have in the universe. It's what you create. That's the only thing there is. And that's the whole point, that people don't right now they're learning. Because it's all about what you make, and so then what you make of it. If you tell some people that, they'll just say, well, then it's inherently nothing. Most people, some people will say, well, then it's everything because it's what you are. Then it becomes a tool of finding out who you really are. Where if you're in a place where it's constantly telling you and filtering your information, then that's useless. Or at least it's something to overcome to find true use. And so the point is, in this system, it's the system that is just developed to show us who we truly are. So that's the most powerful, useful, rewarding experience we can have, period. And imagine having to develop that in a place where nothing really changes, in a sense that we can't gain or lose. So we invented a system where we can gain or lose, but it's a collective simulation in that sense. That runs on DNA. Alright, I'll post the links to the video. I'm getting attacked by non-predatory bugs that just want to listen to me talk or something. It's an interesting environment out here. I have a thing of recycling trash food that I have to make sure nobody throws out or thinks I left. This is like a not even distracted, it's just I don't know how to convey the information in this. You'll just have to listen to the video. Once you listen to that, you'll understand a lot more.